good, thank you. You can step right into the microphone, and can you tell us what the first concert that you ever went to was?
Sure. So, going with the general theme of the evening, this might be one that you haven't heard of.
Not surprised.
The name of the group is Shakti with John McLaughlin.
I've definitely never heard of Shakti with John McLaughlin. Never heard of that.
I was a 16-year-old.
I'm into it.
First
Cool.
concert.
Cool. More things that I should look up on the Napster, because that's the app that I see. And who is your favorite musician these days?
Well, I'm a registered independent, so I'm just gonna keep away from naming anybody.
All right, Bernie, I'm into it. So
right.
you can start over here in the corner, and you can get started whenever you're ready.
Sounds good. So, I actually came here to watch my wife perform, and I really wasn't prepared for this. I didn't even know what the theme was. I kind of heard it was based on inspiration by songs, so that's what I'm going with. It's not really Dream On, but it's close enough, okay?
Screw the rules.
Exactly. So, it's a very short vignette, and it's, contrary to my diplomatic stance with Teresa, it is actually a story of me and the songs by a particular singer-songwriter. He first called his son. Now, in the boy's time zone, I think school was still on, so he left a voicemail. Stuff like, be good in school, son, and hey, do great at baseball, because hopefully I'll be around and see you at the World Series, okay? I may not have time to call that much, but whenever I do, we'll do that Skype thing. We'll have fun. Love ya. He hung up, and then he made a second call. This time, he didn't have to leave a voicemail. He talked about everyday mundane things, stuff like how to keep that computer up and running. And if that doesn't work, call Dave. Oh, and don't forget to refill the medications. Bye, Dad. He then hung up, and he continued horsing with his buddies, who were all being deployed to Bagram Air Force Base in Kabul. Hollywood uses these kind of scenes a lot, usually with long pauses and some violins in the background. Now, I found it a lot more impactful without those distractions. And I'm guessing it was the 3D effect, because it happened in an airplane seat right next to me on a flight to Kuwait. So I sat on the flight, and then next to me, my other neighbor, he started fiddling with his air pouch right there. I think he was trying to find his headphones, because the one he had didn't fit into the sockets that they have. He didn't have one. I tried to wave for an attendant, but this is United. You can't bribe those people to come and help you. So then my first neighbor, who had his own set and that was working, he offered up his little pack, so I passed it on. And I watched my other neighbor kind of fiddle with the plastic. Then he opened it, brought it up, and was so frayed it was barely a workable headphone. He couldn't even plug it in. And then he looked up and he saw me looking at his headphones, and then I looked up at him. We made eye contact, and he grinned, flashed a gold crown, and said, "War's hell, ain't it?" So there's this friend of mine who says that almost everything I see in life reminds me of some song by Bobby Dylan, as my son calls him. And sometimes I'm not even sure why it does, like why that song refers to the situation, but it does. So in this case, this is what I thought. The reason for fighting, I never got straight, but I learned to accept it with pride. For you don't count the dead when God's on your side. Thank you.